museum for me is one of the most primary learning spaces, because it's not just an isolated content area. Everything is available in the museum.
Having the museum in Laramie has really provided us an opportunity to use object-based learning for our students.
There's something about using artwork in the classroom that helps students really connect with the material.
We can use those objects to bring in other disciplines. You know, just because we're teaching art or a writing exercise here in the Art Museum, we can use those objects to teach history, to teach culture, to teach geography.
So we're using the objects to create this dialogue, this conversation, this inquiry process, which is, for us, it's observe, question, explore, create, and reflect.
Then we can also have broader learning objectives. How do you ask questions? How do you look? What can we know? How do we know what we know? All of these are questions that artwork really opens up for students at every level.
When we first look at an object, we ask the students just to take the time to look deeply. In this day and age where technology is everywhere, we ask them to take the time to slow down and look.
A lot of the times nowadays they're looking at computers and they see images of things, but they're not sure the size of it, or if it's a painting, whether that painting has texture to it. So the fact that students get to go to the museum and actually see sculptures and get close to them and get close to paintings.
There's something about the physicality of the objects that inspires their imagination.
There's a huge difference between looking at something on a screen or even printed in a book and coming to the museum and seeing it and seeing this exists.
And they'll look at something that was made and they'll see it in person and they'll see the particularities of how it's crafted and how it's made. But it'll open up new questions into, how is something crafted?
The really nice thing about bringing students over to the museum is that it's such a neutral space. So it's not a place that belongs to me or that belongs to them, but it's a place that we come together as a class and learn together. So the flexibility of that space and the neutrality of the museum space and the class means that they're free to ask more creative questions.
We find that students who come in who aren't outspoken in the classroom are much more outspoken in the museum.
What I have been hearing from public school art teachers is that they can tell students who have been part of preschools that come to the Art Museum on a regular basis, because when they come in as kindergartners, they have motor skills that are a little bit more advanced. Their concept development is strong, their problem-solving abilities are strong.
I've really noticed when kids participate in these programs, especially in their language and use of art dialogue.
Using objects is really critical to help students understand that there is a context for their learning, there is an application to it, they see it in the real world. So it extends this idea of learning as a lifelong concept rather than just something that happens between 8 and 3.
It's right here, very accessible, free, open to the public. It's one of the finest art museums on a university campus that I've ever seen.
Being able to bring students to the Art Museum, engage with them in this space, is priceless.